Hey Watch fam, I hope you're all doing amazingly well. I hope you're doing amazingly well. I'm doing a video today, not from Asia. I'm back in the office on a Friday, although the office on a Friday is closed, but that's when I like to come into the office, when everyone's at work, working from home, doing their thing, being lazy. I like to come into work and catch up on a few things. A few of you have messaged me with some pretty cool ideas in terms of videos, and by the way, if you've got any questions, I might do a Q&A session soon. Drop your questions in the comment section. I'll round up, ring fence a few questions, and I'll discuss them in a video probably in the next couple of weeks, a week or two. So today I got an interesting message on Instagram. By the way, my Instagram is steelmoon_watches. Steelmoon. Actually, no, I got a message on YouTube. I got a message on YouTube, and the gent said or asked, could you do a video about your first Swiss-made watch that you ever bought, and what made you buy it, how your tastes have evolved, and do you still have it? So that's an interesting one. You know, I've always been into watches since I was a kid, and obviously for most it starts with Casio. My first watch was a Timex. Then it was like the Casio, the G-Shock thing, you know, the Casio remote control TV watch, and just more G-Shock loving and all that. I just really liked, I don't know if I cared ever about time. I never really cared about time. It was just that as guys, there's not much we can accessorize, you know, other than buying some clothes. There's not much we can accessorize. Women can accessorize to the nth degree. Ears, necks, lipstick, like everything. Like us guys is like, well, just a watch. I can only wear a watch really, so might as well, I don't know, I just like watches. Growing up, I was always fascinated with sort of strong stuff, you know. I was always, I was a lot into powerlifting, weightlifting, sports, performance, just like the best, you know, winning. And I think when I was in my 20s, I started to really like Breitling watches. It sung to me. The Breitling sung to me, and there were loads. I mean, I remember the first time I used to visit Dubai many years ago. In my early 20s, I'd always pick up like a fake Breitling of some sort, a fake Navitimer or a fake whatever else other watch there was. And you know, once I picked up this really this fake Breitling on a leather strap, brown leather strap with a white dial, and it just looked really nice, like really nice. I thought, you know, I'd like to have one of these real one day, you know, and you know, the power of manifestation or whatever it is, goal setting. I eventually picked up my first Swiss-made watch in 2012. 2012, it was a Breitling Seawolf Avenger. I think it was A17730, something like that. Non-chrono, just the watch, blue dial. It was big. I was a bigger guy then. I was fresh out of sort of, you know, my lifting days. I was a bigger guy, and I never forget, I bought it first on the brown strap because they didn't have the bracelet in stock, and then the bracelet came in like a week or two later. And I was just the happiest puppy in the world with that watch. What is it? A17330. I think it was A17330. Blue. I mean, listen, this watch, right? Blue dial. It had red lettering. 3,000 meter water resistant. Beautiful looking, different looking. It was just a magnificent watch. I mean, I wore that watch for like 2 years. Every single day. Never cared about comfort, never thought about comfort, never thought, oh, you know, is it going to slide under my wrist, my shirt cuff, and all this stuff that you think about nowadays. It was just pure, that's what you could call it. It was just pure watch wearing, like any day, anywhere, with anything. This watch is coming with me, you know. I had the blue rubber strap for it as well, the brown leather strap, and obviously the bracelet, which I think was a Pro V2, because the Pro V1 was a little bit old looking. It was a Pro V2 bracelet, and you know, it was a heavy watch. the Breitling Seawolf Avenger back then was a heavy watch. I think it weighed something like, I mean, it was deep sea territory. It was like a 230 gram watch, like no joke. And I was a bigger guy then. I easily had 25 pounds on me than I do now. I mean, I was a bigger guy, and I don't know, just what happened? Question is, what happened? I mean, the question was that your first Swiss made watch? That was my first Swiss made luxury watch. I did do swatches a lot, you know. No, I did a few swatches at university, but they were nice, comfortable watches, great watches. So what happened with the Seawolf Avenger? You know, your first luxury watch. I sold it. I sold it about 2 years ago now, maybe. 2 years ago, I sold it for about £1,300. Someone was really happy. And actually, maybe up until a year ago or 6 months ago, I saw it online for sale here in the Middle East. Someone was trying to like sell it for more than I sold it for. And I thought, like, shall I buy this watch? Shall I rebuy it? But, you know, honestly speaking, the reason I sold my Breitling was because it was a paperweight. I never wore it. It was just in the drawer non-stop. It was just a paperweight. I tried to kind of change a few things, maybe put it on a NATO, or I tried to really force myself into justifying having the watch, and it just wasn't happening. So I thought, you know what, I'd rather just take the money out of this and just be done with it. It was a stone in the journey, a pebble, a stepping stone in the journey, and that's that. You know, it was a great watch. They've got newer versions now. But an interesting thing with the Breitling is obviously, and one of the points in the question from the viewer was, how have your tastes evolved? I mean, I think that's exactly what he said, right? Like, how has your taste evolved from then to now? And do you still have the watch? Yeah, okay, well, I'll let the watch go. My tastes, how have they evolved? You know, I was never into Rolex when I bought the Breitling. Like, you tell me to go to a Rolex AD and I'd just be like, it's for old people. It's for old people. It's for, like, you know, it's for dads. Here I am, sat, dad, having a coffee in the morning doing a watch video. Proper dad. Not having a dad bod though. Guys, sort your dad bods out. You can't be doing this. Can't be doing this bread stuff. Just get rid of the bread. So the taste evolved. After a certain time, my career was evolving, things were changing, time with different people, exposure to Rolex. I was having more exposure to Rolex, and I started identifying it as like, well, this is kind of like a success, you know, a milestone success timepiece. I was desperate to have this Rolex before I was 30. Yeah, maybe 30, or just before 30, whatever. And I just got into subs. You know what? I don't even know how it happened. How did I get into subs? I just think, you know, just hanging out with people in the Middle East, you know, you'll start doing stupid things like, you know, seeing this, and I even smoked shisha for a bit because a lot of clients were doing it, so you just have a bit of shisha, whatever. But just the Rolex, I don't really know where it came from. I think, you know where it came from? I've always wanted something nice. And back then, I was struggling for a little bit of motivation. I was doing sales, but I was doing sales for what? For myself to make money to party or whatever. It was just, now you do sales because you're building like an infrastructure for your family, for the future, and doing loads of other things. But I think I watched The Wolf of Wall Street, and that motivated me. And there was a scene in Wolf of Wall Street where it's like, go out and just buy something crazy. Just do it and just work your ass off buying the next thing crazy. You know, just do it. And, you know, like I said, I think I was 29, 30, and I've always wanted to watch, and I was kind of putting it off. And then Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street was just magnificent. And not that I wanted to indebt myself, but the message in that particular scene was just go buy it. Just go work your way out of your financial problems. Work your way out of anything. You want something? Do it. Go buy it. Just work your way through it. You'll make more, and go buy more. And I thought, well, you know what? Sod it. I want to get a sub. I'm getting a sub. Obviously, life was still okay because obviously just the whole Rolex thing kicked off. And then I was doing the whole black sub, Hulk. Head is like, no black sub because, you know, be with the sheep. You know, don't venture too far from norm, don't deviate. And my heart's like, green. And I was actually in Selfridges before I bought my first Submariner. I was in Selfridges with a good friend of mine. He's got good taste. I respect that. I'll never tell him to his face, but he's got good taste. And he saw the green, the Hulk. And he was like, that's really nice. And I was kind of thinking about it, but when he confirmed it, I thought, I'm going to get Hulk. It's nice. You know, it's nice. I respected his kind of taste on things. And, you know, dare I say, I kind of went down the Rolex rabbit hole. You know, a good friend of mine, then she bought a Datejust. And then I kind of just, I always associated Rolex with, like, the best. Like, you know, Patek, AP weren't really on my radar. I mean, I was not the demographic then for AP and all that, but I knew AP, like I heard of the name, but I never really looked into it, and I was never really drawn to it, and it just stuck with Rolex. And I know this is like a long mixed kind of like message and background story of, but this was the question which was given to me by this particular viewer. So I didn't even say the viewer's name. Paul Johnson 3686. That was kind of how it evolved, and then once I got the first Submariner, you know, your natural instinct for a while is like, well, how do I better this? How do I go to the next stage? Because the hedonism kicks in, like, it has to be better. You start developing like needs for fixes, the serotonin, need the better, and this is how people get to gold really quickly. So I started thinking about two-tone. And that's when I was thinking about the bluesy for ages. Like the bluesy, I'll go from Hulk to bluesy, and it never really happened. But I'm firmly in a Rolex camp. These days, as some of you will know, I'm not into 6-digit watches anymore, or Rolexes. I respect them, very good watches. I just don't like all the stuff around it. I choose not to associate myself with it. If one comes in, I'll just flip it. But it's not a watch that I'll be proud to wear, because what I wear, I need to be proud wearing it. Like, I don't want to feel like a donkey who's been, you know, crawling through a mile of shit to try and get a particular watch. Nah, that's not for me. Like, I'll get it and then I'll flip it. And that's just how it's evolved. You know, I am looking at other brands now. There are other brands, you know, the whole Panerai thing, looking slowly at JLC Reversos. I've done the Omega thing. So it has changed, and I don't really know where it will go, but I just take my time with it now. I take my time, I see what's happening in the market, and I'll know when to pull the trigger. But guys, I just thought I'd share that kind of boring thing. It's probably not going to be for a lot of viewers. Maybe some of the core subscribers of mine enjoy. I mean, this is what I'm about. Sometimes I do interesting stuff, sometimes I do off the beaten track stuff. And guys, let me know in the comment section some Q&A stuff, and I'll be happy to do a Q&A video with like 10 questions where I can, like, you know, answer some stuff and just make it a little bit more fun. Anyway guys, I'll post soon, and have a cracking weekend. Thanks, bye.